Agriculture on the move.
Agricole en mouvement.
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 Hello everyone and welcome to the program Agriculture on the Move. I am Philip Sidney, your host. I am sure you can remember years ago in the rural areas, the community were looking at women who were involved in sewing. They were seamstresses. You know who your seamstresses were in the various communities. Women were involved in making of jellies and jams and pones. You know, that was a given in the various communities. But it became more of a business, what we call cottage industry. The Ministry of Agriculture and of course the Ministry of Commerce were able to identify those persons who were very innovative using our various crops, our various fruits, drying them and making them into jams and jellies, as I said. And we wanted to empower those women and to have them to do it a bit better, package it better for sale, you know, because that was an income coming to those persons in the various communities. So much so, we saw the women in Babono and the women in Angemiku coming together to form a cluster called the St. Lucia Network of Rural Women. They are involved in value added. Some of them are farmers and using those same produce, added value to them, and they are selling them right now. So much so the government went as far as enabling the environment by building an agro-processing plant in Angers, in Foasso, which they are using. So you have the Babono cluster in Babono, and you have the Miku cluster in Angers, and I'm sure you have heard about the Miku dark chocolate, which is very prominent and is on the supermarket shelves and of course is being exported. We also saw the birth of Place Cassave. All of these persons were women who doing a very good business. So much so there are other persons who got on board and were given exposure to World Food Day exhibitions. And the latest one we had was a big one, 2019 at VG. We had almost 60 agro processors, and the list is growing and growing. And today, with me is one of those persons who saw the need to go into agro processing, and I'm talking about Shorvanie Justin, who is the owner of Health Nutz. Welcome to the program, ma'am.
Thank you for having me.
Shorvanie, tell us something. How did you get into agro-processing? What's the journey?
Well, Health Nutz came to life as a result of a personal need, you know, where I had to stop using dairy milk for my daughter. And I started using coconut milk, and in getting the coconut on the shelf, I was not fully satisfied, you know, with the taste compared to having a natural milk. Okay. Yeah, so I started making my own milk, and I started saving the coconut. After I extracted the milk, I would just freeze the coconut for some reason. And after a while of doing it, I realized, but you know, this is something that you get on the supermarket shelves. 100% fresh coconut milk, fresh coconut juice, you know. So I started doing my market research, started looking on the shelves, I started looking at packaging, I started looking at what they had to offer, and I went online, I did my reading up, and at first I didn't think about going on a wide scale with it. I figured, okay, I'm going to do it on a small scale and, just sell it for people. And then I realized that this is good for the market because it is fresh coconut compared to what you get out there. So that is how Health Nutz came to life.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And did you have a problem getting the coconuts, and were you able to get your machines and everything to get it sorted out? When did you begin? At home? What was it like?
I started off at home with the basic machinery, nothing commercial. So I basically started with the normal kitchen machinery, my juicer, my grinder, and for a while that's what I have been using, just the basic, because the commercial equipment is very, very expensive.
Right.
Yes, so I basically started off of my pocket and out of my kitchen.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. So where were you selling to at the time when you began?
When I first started, I approached Dak Supermarket. At the time, the general manager who was there, when I sent my products into him, he was very, very impressed. And through him, I was able to get proper labels done. Well, before him, I went to the Bureau of Standards. So I got my label info approved. And through going to DAX, the general manager at the time, he helped me work on my labels to get it up to par, in terms of how it looked, in terms of the presentation. So that was my first vendor.
Okay, but getting your place certified, you needed to get the approval of the Ministry of Health and, of course, the Bureau of Standards, right? How was this done for you?
Well, my first work was with the Bureau of Standards. It was, let me see, with the Bureau of Standards, they're very involved, in getting our labels up to date, training, basic training in food certification. With the Ministry of with the Ministry of Health, it's a little more because you have to get your kitchen up to a certain standard, right, before you get it certified, and that is where the real cost, that's where the real money comes in, to get that kitchen up to standards the way that you're supposed to.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how were you able to do that? Were you able to get funding? Did you fund it yourself, or were you able to get assistance from any?
Well, so far, I've been doing everything off pocket.
Wow.
Yeah, and just before I went into agro processing, I was a hairdresser. So basically, my one business was feeding off of the other.
Ah,
yeah,
just complementing it.
Yeah, yeah. So everything thus far has been done off pocket.
Okay.
Yeah.
So are you satisfied with the returns you're getting?
I'm satisfied that the business is growing and that it's almost at the point of sustaining itself. I cannot yet say that I am getting returns, but the progress that I see is encouraging.
Okay.
Because it takes time. I've been in this since 2017. I kind of took a break and I started again in 2019. So I cannot yet say that I am seeing a profitable return in my pocket. But in terms of growth, I can see growth and it's encouraging. Yeah, because sometimes it's really, really tough, when you have to do everything from out of pocket, and you don't have the financial stability that you need. So the encouragement of, your customers, family, friends is what really has us going in the beginning.
So were you able to get a business plan done, so you know exactly how much you're spending, in terms of your raw material, your labor? Do you have anybody assisting you, in the process?
Well, the department, say do, they have offered that assistance. I am still working on my business plan because this has proven to take a while. So I have gotten assistance in terms of to date with production and financing. It has a lot of work. It's not something that could be done in 6 months. It takes time. And, you know, I mean, health brought me to a whole new world, a whole new arena. Yeah.
Okay. Apart from Dax supermarket, do you have any other markets that you're selling to?
Well, right now, as of the past year, I am with Healing Foods, that's in SNS Plaza. I'm with Susie's Varieties in Bois d'Orange and also in Vieux-Fort. And I'm also with Excellent Stores in Rodney Bay Marina. Yeah, no, across from the Marina, Rodney Bay. Yes, and I am soon going to be in Vieux-Fort at Green Supermarket.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay, how your customers, are they satisfied with the product? Are you getting feedback so that you will know exactly, yes, you are on the right track?
Well, in terms of feedback, that I receive a lot. One of the reasons why I went into vegan snacks is because of the people I met at the beginning of my venture. When I started, I took part in the Taiwanese trade show, that's in 2017. And I met a lot of vegans, and they were expressing that they would love to try if only it had this or that. And then
so what are the this and no that?
No dairy, gluten-free, you know, those are some of the things that they expressed, you know, that I would love. Because of what I used, because I was using the coconut flour and the coconut milk, and I was using the coconut flour to make snacks. Yeah, so because of the coconut flour, they expressed if it didn't contain certain ingredients that they would love to try it. And then I decided, you know what, the vegan market, vegan, vegetarians, hypertensive, you know, people, you know, with allergies, because, you know, right now you have people who's gluten intolerant, lactose intolerant. Yeah, so when I realized that there was a market, I said, okay, I'll divert to there. So the feedback is very positive. My customers, you know, they reach out and it's encouraging.
Do you get, I mean, people call you and make personal orders from you?
Yes, with my cakes, sometimes I get $20 order from one person every how many weeks. There are people who consistently, you know, buy the milk, my bars, and sometimes I have customers who buy, they don't buy one, they don't two, but they buy a bunch. Yes, so the consistency is there.
Great. So I know for such an enterprise, you need advertising. Have you been doing that? I noticed on your Facebook page, you always have a nice little design, a nice little flyer. You know, how is this going for you?
Well, advertising, as you know, is very expensive, very costly. And the way to go now is social media. That's where everybody is. So in terms of advertising, I take advantage of social media as much as I can. And I try to remain constant so people don't forget Health Nutz. So I use WhatsApp, I use Instagram as my means of advertising.
Okay, very good. I know people like to gravitate, especially when things are new. They like to gravitate to it, and they love to sample. Where you sell it at the supermarkets, have you organized maybe some tasting?
I have organized tastings in the past. Even up until recently, maybe a couple of months ago. But with the COVID and the protocols, you know, and the limited amount of people allowed certain places, it's become a little, you know, tedious, a little more difficult to do. But I do offer tastings. Yeah.
Okay, great. Anyway, we do for our first break.
Okay.
You're watching Agriculture on the Move. Stay tuned. We'll be back soon. Don't go away.
What's in the food you're eating? Do you really even know? All the chemicals and hormones used to accelerate their growth. All the artificial flavoring, sweeteners and colors too. We consume and we don't spare a thought for the damage that they'll do. No, think about the children. Think about the children. How will we save them? Chemicals and GMOs are not the solution. Use organic and join revolution. Excessive agrochemical use, additives and genetically modified foods are harmful to health and the environment. Join the good food revolution. Grow, buy and consume organic. A message from Rise St. Lucia and the Ministry of Sustainable Development with funding from the GF Small Grants Program, UNDP. The Good Food Revolution.
Welcome back to the program, Agriculture on the Move, and with me is Shorvanie Justin, who is the owner of Health Nutz. And of course, I'm sure you have realized we're talking agro processing. Shorvanie, tell us, what products do you have here? And you also can tell us why, give us your consumers, which are the products that they like more?
Okay. So what we have, no,
just point it out.
So what we have here, we have the coconut milk. It's all natural coconut milk. It comes frozen because it doesn't have any preservatives or additives in there.
Right.
So the preservative is the freezer, and that coconut milk will last 6 months in the freezer and 7 days, well, 5 to 7 days in the refrigerator. Next to it we have coconut crumbles, which is a cereal or can be eaten as a snack. It's made with coconut flour, oats and raisins, and we also carry coconut flour, oats and chocolate for the chocolate lovers. In front we have the cookies, cranberry cookies, and we also have chocolate chip cookies, coconut flour. And in the middle we have the granola bar. It's made with oats and cranberry. And next to it we have the chocolate cake, which is made with coconut flour. All our products are dairy free, sugar free. Well, the bars has a little sugar. Everything else it's naturally sweetened, as in with coconut sugar or agave. The best seller, what sells the most, is are the cranberry bars and the chocolate cake.
What the kids go for?
The children, the Crumbles, the chocolate cake, and the cranberry bars.
So you have a market at the schools then?
Oh well, I will target the school soon.
Yes, because I'm sure that is something that kids would like.
Yeah.
Especially it's healthy and wholesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And tasty.
And tasty.
Yes.
Where are you located?
My production area is on Brogley Street, Brogley and Brazil Street in Castries. That's where I produce my products.
All right.
And well, you can find the products at the stores, or through us, like personal orders. You
can call in and whatever.
Could call in, yeah.
Okay. Where do you get raw material from the coconut? I mean, is it easy to get coconuts?
It can be a little challenging sometimes getting coconuts. Sometimes I have to get it at the stores. And there are times where people who know that I use coconuts, they would bring me a couple sacks of coconuts. The coconuts is, most people would want to sell like a regular price. And I'm buying a sack of coconuts, I'm buying wholesale. So naturally I would expect to get wholesale prices. So with getting coconuts, it can be a bit challenging. I just compromise and I just take what I get most of the time. But I would love to have a market where I could get my coconuts.
But have you tried getting coconuts directly from the farmers? Because a lot of the farmers, maybe you can work with the extension officers, who can actually, put you onto some farmers.
Yeah, well, this is I am part of a group where, you know, we're asked about coconuts, but I've never really got an opportunity to get coconuts from them. Yeah.
Because I'm sure coconut, yes, I don't think it's scarce per se, because you do not have, there are a lot of persons who are using coconuts to do other stuff too, like with the coconut oil, as for example. So it may be in demand, but I don't think there is really a shortage of coconuts. It's just a question of finding out who has, you know, and one gentleman, he's involved in the coconut water, you know, we call him Co, all right? I think he's also part of the group that you are into. Okay. So maybe you can speak with him. I'm sure you'll be able to get some assistance in that regard.
Yeah, well, hopefully when I will be in demand, a higher demand, I will definitely need to get to have access.
Yeah, Kenny Daniel is the person that you should talk to.
Yeah, I'm in touch with Kenny.
Yeah, so he should be able to give you some assistance in that regard.
Yeah.
What about your packaging material? How difficult is it to get?
Initially, I would buy my packaging off Amazon, which would be a little costly because I buy it on a small scale. By the time it comes in, I pay extra monies. But right now, I can source it locally. Okay. There are a few people here who actually sell packaging, different kinds. So I get my foil back and my craft bags from one supplier, which is right here. And the cost, it's reasonable. It's very, very reasonable. And my cellophane packs, I get them from Ramco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so for now, the packaging is okay. The labels, on the other hand, it is very, very costly to get labels. Okay,
so who have been assisting you in getting your labels done?
Oh, well, I do my labels locally. Yeah, I print directly with a printer. Yeah, but the labels is one of those that takes up a lot of the monies. You know, when it comes to packaging, the labels it takes up a lot of the profits.
Okay.
Yeah.
But is there a possibility of looking at you know, a lump sum in terms of the numbers? So if you print, you get it on a cheaper basis?
Well, that is the case. That is the case. The more you print, the less you pay. But with a small producer like me, I'm not always able to produce a lump sum. Okay. You know, so most times I print as I need at the time. Okay. So then you find this is one of the reasons why it'll cost me more to print.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. So apart from that being a challenge, but do you have any real challenges for your business?
Finance is the biggest challenge in every agro-processor story in St. Lucia. Right. You know, getting assistance is very difficult. You need to be around for a certain period of time. You know, you need to have, I mean, the requirements are very high, and sometimes we don't meet the requirements. You know, example, my kitchen. To have a certified kitchen, it is very, very difficult. You know, first off, you need to have property, you know, where you could actually build a kitchen. Okay. Yeah, because it has to be separate from your private kitchen. Right. Fortunately for me, I have a space in Castries where I was able to rent out and then turn it into a kitchen, which has been working out for me. Okay. But in the beginning, that was one of my challenges, you know, getting my kitchen set up, and we're talking about $15,000, you know, just to get a kitchen set up, you know, to get your equipment, to get your you know, to meet the Ministry of Health requirements. It's very costly. Okay. So finance is the biggest challenge, because who's doing everything off of my pocket? You know, this is something that, you know, I have to face.
So what's next for Health Nutz moving forward? Are you hoping to increase your demand and, of course, looking for outside markets?
Well, that's the plan. to take advantage of the local market first. You know, Health Nutz has to be a home brand. I would love Health Nutz to be like, when people hear Health Nutz, like, oh, we know Health Nutz. You know, I am looking to be in everybody's face and everybody's home as much as possible, and then from there, definitely.
How has COVID impacted you?
With COVID, with all the lockdowns, with us having to, I mean, small businesses were closed for a little while. That did bring down sales.
Okay.
But the upside of it is that I'm now getting on the market. So even if maybe I may not be able to physically open and do my pop-ups and have sales the way I would love to, I still get the opportunity to be on the market shelf. Yeah. But COVID has limited us agro-processors in terms of how we can, you know, market ourselves out there, because if having a tasting, you know, even that is limited. Yeah. So
the social gathering.
The gathering, yeah. So, I mean, I'm just taking advantage of the situation as best as I can.
Okay.
You know, and not sitting there and worrying about COVID.
So COVID is going to be around for a while. So you have to work with COVID, I suppose.
Yeah, I have to fly over.
Yes.
And make it happen for me.
That's good. That's very good. In terms of export, I'm sure we have exports in Lucia there. Have you given a thought?
Not yet. No.
Right, okay.
No.
So you're still looking and juggling around to see.
Yeah, I have to play it at home first.
That's right.
Before I go out there, you know, I have to, you know, market myself in my hometown.
Very good.
Yes, and then when I get settled there, then I could consider.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good. I'm happy for you. I think that you will continue and don't give up, even if COVID is around. You know, and the other challenges, but I think you have done well for yourself.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, you know, you will get assistance, especially if you need assistance from the Ministry of Agriculture in any way. If you need import anything, they can give you some assistance too, because there's a provision for bringing equipment. If you need to bring in equipment, you know, that can be, you know, looked at, you know, in that regard. Okay. So I just want you to know that.
Okay.
Just before we end, I just want to I call it agri tips, because there's certain things that you need to know as we were speaking about incentives for farmers, and especially farmers who are bringing in vehicles for FAR. Please, before you import a vehicle, get permission from the ministry first, fill in your form from your extension officer. All the prerequisites are met before you import that vehicle, because even if you send in your application, it can be denied. And if the vehicle is already there, you may not get the concession. So I'm saying to you again, apply first, get your application approved, and then you can bring in your vehicle. That is very, very, very important. So, Ms. Shorvanie, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for
and I wish you
having me.
success. I
Thank
will
you.
need you to continue working hard, and I think you've come a long way. And of course, I know the school kids will enjoy that moving forward. Thank you again.
Thank you.
You've been watching Agriculture The Move. Thank you for viewing the program. And remember, agriculture is our business. Eat fresh. It's Lucia's best. The money stays here in her pocket. I'm Philip Sidney. Goodbye.
Agriculture on the move.
Agriculture movement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agriculture movement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agriculture movement.
Agriculture on the move.
Agriculture movement.